Hi everybody, good to see you. Of course, it's good to be seen. As you can't beat being out in the woods on a day like today. It's a bit overcast, you're getting some sunshine, it's really quiet, a little bit of noise in the background, the odd occasional plane that flies over, but it really is nice to be out when it's quiet and there's nobody else around, and you just take your time having a look around you, and it's just being in nature. It's a part of being in bushcraft. So I've been in here for quite a while now, and it's time for a brew. So I've got this, I think is a really cool, it's not my idea, something that I've learnt, a really cool idea for a pot holder. So what I do is I'll go off and collect the wood, and we'll put it together, make a cup of tea, see how we get on with it. Right, so all I've done then is I've gone off and cut myself some hazel, yay big. You can make this longer in your CY later, and it's the same with this. It can be as long as short as you want it to be, but it has to be a particular length if you're using a particular pot. Obviously you'll see why later. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to whittle this down to what it needs to do to work, and then we'll get on with the brew. So, but you could, if you found some dead standing, use that instead of. I prefer to use that, but I just couldn't find anything that wasn't rotten, so I've just gone for the fresh bit. But if you wanted to, you know, save the planet, you could just go for a hard standing that's been dead for a while, which is do the same job. So let's get on with it. So what I want to do first is I want to whittle down one side. It's going to be really thin, so I want it to be reasonably straight. This obviously is not particularly straight. Best bit actually is right down here, so I'm going to start on here. I've got my small axe, and obviously stand to the side, so if anything happens, safety first and all that. You could do this with a knife. I'm just doing it for quickness, see? You don't want to go all the way through, you're just taking literally, you want to try and keep it straight though. It's probably about as far as I want to go. As you can see, it's not very straight. Don't know what I was thinking there. Okay, come around the other side, do the same. It's got to be dead opposite. You noticed it, what I'm doing here is I'm holding the axe. I'm sort of holding it right close up to the actual axe head itself, so I'm almost choking it there, and that allows me to not have this uncontrollable swing, but more of a controlled maneuver, if you want to call it that. So I can literally precisely do exactly what I want to do there, and if it goes, it's pretty much there. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, I just want to make sure I got that right. Don't have to worry about going down too far, because some of that's going to go into the ground. Now I'm just going to take a bit more off up here. As you can see, it's starting to wobble a bit. Okay, that's pretty good. What I do is I want to put a point on the end. Hasn't got to be spot, but I'm trying to make it as best as I can to a point. Okay, so what we need to do now, so I'm just going to take a bit more of that off there. Okay, I've got to bang that into the ground. First of all, I'm going to put the sheath back on. Obviously the shock is bending out there, so not too bad. Okay, so what I want to do then is I've got to put a cut in this the same width as that, like so. So I've got to put it about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my saw and I'm going to saw it through there. Well, it should be there. Okay, I've left this little branch there on there deliberately, and you'll see in a minute why. So I want that on the top, not on the bottom. I want it on the top. So all I'm going to do then is I'm going to put my finger about, I reckon about, you want a bit of an overlay, say about there, maybe. Just going to saw through. Okay, keeping an eye on just how far you're going through. You don't want to go all the way through, obviously. Maybe about halfway, and a bit more, maybe 3/4 of the way. This is about thumb thickness. Okay, it can be a little bit thicker. You don't want it too thin, obviously. What I'm going to do is I'm going to guess the thing, and about there. And what that's got to do, that's got to sit in there. So obviously he wants to be a bit wider. So make that a little bit bigger. give it a try. Okay, and what that does, it becomes an automatic adjuster. So you put your pot on there like that, yeah, and obviously you can have that a bit longer. You come down here, put that in there, there's the fire. And if you want it a bit, obviously a bit higher up, needs probably a little bit more up there. And that goes like there, like so. Obviously I've only got a small pot. Probably take a little bit more off of that. And then that is all you need to make a little simple and easy pot holder. I'd say if you want to make that a bit longer, you can. The thickness of the sticks is going to be variant on what you're doing. The reason I left that on there, stating the obvious, because obviously I've got to put water on there. That's going to bring that over a bit because that's quite flexible, right? And I don't want that falling off the edge, so I've left this on there for the obvious reasons. Okay. You can play around with this, get it right. If you're in a permanent camp, you might want a bigger stick. Don't forget, the bigger your pot, this has got to be a bit bigger, a bit thicker. Because I'm only using a small pot, I don't need to go too mad. So, you know, be sensible, scale it up where it needs to be scaled up. This is probably about as small as you want to go. Again, I've only got a little pot. But we'll get a fire going, proof's in the pudding, and we'll make a cup of tea. Nice and hot. Well, I hope you like that idea. So the idea, as you can see, is very much an adjustable level. Let me just demonstrate. If I put that on there, if you want to keep it warm over the fire while you're doing bushcraft, you can just put it on there like so. And obviously if you want to boil it, you just lower it down and like so. Quite a simple idea really, quite straightforward. But again, you know, I'm only doing a little cup of tea here, so if you've got a big kettle, for example, and there's 3 or 4 of you, your stick's going to need to be a lot thicker, because obviously there's a lot of flex in that now. And as you can see from the film, the fire started to go up against this, which I wasn't too worried about because it was green. So if it maybe it was dry standing, and maybe a bit of concern there. But as you can see from the simplicity of it, just locks in as it gets a bit of weight on it. Okay, there it goes. But if you wanted to, this could be a little bit thicker. Okay, all this is, you know, trial and error, whatever suits really for the occasion. I'm only passing through, make a quick cup of tea, and what I do is I'll stick them by the tree, and if I'm ever in the area again, I'll use them. But it doesn't take long to knock one up. It's a bit better than knocking the big thing up with all the sticks. Like if you've seen some of my videos, I don't know how far back it was, but I did a pot holder there and it was a bit more complex probably designed for a fixed camp. In theory this one's just a, you know, quick stop and go, but that's as simple as it is, and it just saves you putting your pot in the fire. Like I just carry this little cup round with the little handle there. Does the trick. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there is a review on this actual cup, so if you go back into my videos you'll see it if you're interested. Really handy. This is a titanium. I'm not going to go into it because obviously I've already done it, but this is about the pot holder as opposed to the cup. Simple idea, not mine, just something that I learned recently, which is always handy to know, enough string to your bow, so to speak. So that's it really. So if you liked it, you know, like, subscribe, leave a comment if you want to leave a comment, good or bad, doesn't, you know, it's always good to hear from people. So with that, I'm just going to chill out, drink my tea.